We are live. Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back here into this new live with me. Today, for the first time, I'm gonna be live in LinkedIn and at the same time also on YouTube. So, welcome also to all YouTubers, watchers. Um, so as always, I'm gonna wait 30 seconds for waiting everybody to log in. Um, Today is a Thursday, Friday is coming to an end. Friday just like saying if, sorry. Okay, I got one notification. So good. We are live 1 minute now, and I think we can start with this new live. Today, the topic is very hot for a lot of us, and it's today is the live about why client ghosts us. Of course, I just want to mention that we need to split between if the client has already if the client is new, so we are more talking about potential clients. So we are just doing like our discovery call. We make an offer. It sounds like everything is going well, but for some reason, then you do not have any commitment, and so that potential client is not becoming actually your client, and you don't know really why, because ghosting you, it means that you're not receiving any kind of message, call back, or email back, whatever is going to be the way of communication you had with that person. And mainly in this case, we talk about the client can see your value, can see like that you can actually be a plus for them, and that is it is just gonna follow what kind of strategy, because we need to go into the selling. Here we are gonna talk about clients that somehow are already our clients, so we have started our managing, but for some reason we need to get in touch with them. We ask you for more information that we need for progressing in our project, but for some reason they just do not come back. There is some kind of friction, or worst, when we finish our work with them, the client simply disappear. So we have lost our lead, because the point of having one client, of course, it's just like having multiple projects with the same client, and also gain some kind of reputation. So we're gonna have also a word of mouth somehow, that it's always needed, of course. So if we are not receiving any feedback at the end of our job, it means that we have done something during our job in a way that the client lose trust on us and doesn't want to deal with us anymore, so it just prefer ghosting instead of coming back to us and say like, listen, I had problem A, B, and C, and you start a discussion. So those are two different type of situation that can answer these questions. And mainly here today, we are not going to see the situation of the potential client, but we are just going to see when we have already the client on board, and it's not going as expected. So as always, let's start with our slide. So I know that every one of you had been in this situation where, if I'm gonna ask you, have you ever been ghosted by a client who once said, will love your work, and that for some reason you're not receiving any message or type of communication back. I'm sure that every one of you can say yes to this question, because at the end of the day it's a form or no. Ghosting is a form or no, and no is part of the game. So I have tried to collect a few of the reasons why the clients actually can ghost us, and as you can see, the list is very long. I have collected here 61 reasons, and if you want to read them properly, because we are not gonna go on the list right now, I'm gonna share this list on my blog. At the end of this video you're gonna find the link above this video, so feel free to jump on the blog and have a reading of why the client ghosts us, what are your answers to these questions. And mainly when we're gonna see actually the reasons why, we are always talking about emotions. So we can say so many things, but the reality, just like ghosting, is a response to emotional friction and not a logic response. So this means that if it's emotional, it's just connected with the irrational part of the human being. And human behavior are very complex, and it's very difficult to predict. So I just want to say that there isn't one specific reason. There isn't one specific answer to the question why the client ghosts you. We can talk about you have to do A, B, and C, but keep in mind that the procedure can work for the client 1 and cannot work for the client 2, for the simple reason that those are 2 different people, those are 2 different experiences, 2 different behavior characters, and therefore they are gonna react differently from the other client. So just be aware that there isn't one single question. We are just gonna try to find a framework today, but it's something that has to be developed more and more. So human behavior is complex, and there are multifactional and difficulties to predict. But if we have seen 61 reasons why a client can ghost us, but what is always true is just somehow a client ghosts us because there is a kind of friction. So it means that somehow the relationship we have developed with our client got broken during the path. It could be at the end, it could be in the middle, it could be also at the start, but somehow there had been some kind of friction. Because if you really get along with someone, choosing a service or choosing a client works exactly as choosing a friend. So you are a friend of someone when actually you get along with that person. When you do not get along, or if you're gonna do the balance between fights and good moments, the fights are the majority of the time compared to the good moments. In this case, what is happening usually is just you don't want to get, you don't want to spend your time with that person. But if you get along, if you feel like a kind of plus and plus, so a positive feeling, I mean, you just want to hang out with that person. And in this case, in business, it's not really so different from this situation. So if the client get along with you, he's gonna be more than happy in keep the relationship with you, even if the business is over and somehow you have developed a kind of relationship that goes behind the business aspect only. I mean, those people do not have any problem in replying, hey, hi, how are you, how life is going. They will be more than happy in replying. Maybe, I mean, it could happen sometimes that, on the other side, especially if you are a B2B, so you're working with other business owners, I mean, they could be busy. So for one reason or the other, you are not the first priorities and they are not replying, not on purpose, but because it happens. It's fine, but it's really, really rare. I would say that 95% of the time, why a client, 95% of the time, where a client is not responding you, so is ghosting you, it's actually because somehow this friction in the bond has been developed. So I just want to kind of shift the situation here and just think in another way, because I know that usually we try to blame the client and we say like, I mean, the client is an impossible person and is not replying to us, is very unprofessional and all those things. Fine, it could be real, but what if it's gonna be on us as well? What if we had been part of the game, so we have part of the responsibilities? Because if we think that somehow we can improve some of our reaction that cost us a client or a lead, I mean, we can save in the future clients, or better, we can also try to save the bound with the client number one that for the reason X we have lost during the path. It's fine, but just think that you could be also like someone to blame in this game. So what if actually we think that ghosting is a symptom of a system failure and not a client disrespect? So what if actually we hadn't managed properly our delivery, and for some reason the client got pissed off with us, and I mean, that one is the reason why after they started ghosting us. So here I wrote most CEOs blame communication, and as I said, like it could be, but underlining gaps in clarity, process, or boundaries. I am dealing with a personal situation now where I am the client of a business, and I am really pissed off after almost a year now. I can't wait to finish this contract, because in reality, like I am in a situation where he told me like, yes, I can do this, fine. So I engage him for having the service that I need, but in reality, when we are going through the process to finish with the service, he's gonna keep stepping back and so I need to do things that we had already agreed back in the days that he was the one taking care of them. So, okay, I'm gonna find them, I'm gonna do them by myself, but I'm not a happy client. And definitely there's gonna be negative reviews. Definitely, I mean, if someone is gonna ask me about your services, I'm not gonna have a good words for you. And I mean, it can cost you also my clients. So what if in reality, when you have set up your clarity, like in this case, in the personal story that I have just told you, or like in the boundaries on the process, you hadn't been so clear, and therefore the client accept you thinking that you were solving an issue, and in reality you have solved, I don't know, maybe even 80%, but you have over delivered compared you have over promised compared to what you have delivered actually at the end. This could be one reason why you are creating friction and actually the client decide to ghost you. So another way, we just, as I was mentioning earlier, ghosting doesn't necessarily mean a rejection. It means that somehow we can improve ourselves. But it's often a signal of confusion, fatigue, or as I was saying, like unmet expectations. And this is also on us. We need to be able to really predict how we can deliver something, because at the end of the day, we are the expert. So here I just put like 3 steps that you can use in order to work on yourself and on your services for trying to avoid friction in the future and being ghosted by other clients. So first of all, don't push, but just create safety. So why? In the white text, I had just put like the situation of how your client can feel, and in the blue text, there are like the solution, so how you can deal with this situation. So with the don't push but just create a safety, I just put down this step because usually clients go silent in the middle of the project when they feel overwhelmed, confused, or afraid to express dissatisfaction. So if a client don't feel like okay in expressing themselves, I mean, it's something that is gonna make them uncomfortable. So how can you just overcome this issue? You can just try to make clear that you do not have any problem with a no until it's gonna be discussed. So you can say something like, what did I wrote here? Let me know if it's okay. If it's okay, say no. Create a space for real feedbacks in retros or check-ins. So before, you can say to the client, like, before moving forward, is there anything you're not saying that could that we should know now, or like, is in order to moving forward, is there anything that makes you hesitant? In this way, you make feel like the client is heard, is listened, and they feel like, okay, I'm seen, I can talk, and this just is a way for aligning all expectations. As well, like normalize challenges. So it's fine if priorities shift, because we know that during a project, usually, a project ends with something that was different from what had been agreed at the beginning, because while we are developing, we just discover something new or something that goes in a different direction, and therefore like expectation shift. So you can just say to the client, it's fine if your priority shifts. Just let's align early as soon as possible in order to like being able to plan in a good way like the next steps. Another step in the framework for overcoming this issue that can create a friction between you and your clients, there is like clarity. Don't guess, just be clear. So ghosting often happens when clients don't really understand what is expected of them. Why? I think this is something that many times got confused, because in reality, usually a client thinks that okay, I'm gonna go to an expert, and they're gonna do all the job. I'm just gonna pay, and they're gonna do all the job that I need. And this is true until one point. For instance, in my own experience, because I came from the construction industry, one situation that usually happens is just like, I need some documents from you. So, okay, I can do the project for you, but you need to provide me like the documents of how this project is, I mean, how you have the properties of this land, or like the approval documentation for whatever is now and that you want to refurbish. Of course, some of these documents I can just check them by myself. It's gonna be an extra cost, but it's also like means that if I'm gonna do by myself, because I'm not the owner, I need extra like approval by the office, and therefore like it can affect my timeline. So you can be faster, maybe it could be cheaper if you're gonna do it by yourself. And in any case, many times there are like documents that I, as a technical person, I can't just have it by myself, so they can be released only to the owner, or like the legal representative, so a solicitor. Usually it's a solicitor. So I mean, in this case, for instance, because I am the expert, I need to make it clear to the client that yeah, I mean, I can do the project for you. I don't have any problem with that. I would be more than happy in designing this house for you. But just keep in mind that when we're going to arrive to this step, I will need your help in gaining all these documents that I need to moving forward in the project. And this is something like usually that happens all the time in the construction industry. So always be clear. And at the same time, like because they are not expert as you are, usually visual examples, images, diagrams, something like that can help them understand the progress or what is the situation and things like that. So I would suggest you, if every time you just need to improve your clarity, to work a lot on the visuals, because that is something that is gonna help the client in better understanding your position as well. Just think, for instance, how it's easy a movie compared to reading the book of the same story. Reading a book of the same story just requires so much mental energies, because we are reading, but at the same time our mind needs to figure it out, the environment, all the sounds, and all the action that the characters in the plot are just like doing. While when we are like watching a movie, in reality, I mean, it's there. It's just like so easy. I can see the image, and I just need to follow like the discussion between the two characters, and that's it. So, and this is exactly why usually a movie got more success compared to a book, because even though the book might have more details and the adventure might be more interesting for the readers, in reality the movie is easier to follow for people, and so more and more people follow the movie. The simple reason is because one is visual, and in the other way, your mind needs to create the visual. So for clarity, I will suggest you to work on your visual skills. And as a last step, as a third step of our framework, I just put don't chase, but lead. So be human and make them feel heard. Many times project managers send this template just saying something like just for check-in, and the client got completely ignored because they feel like in reality you are just sending the check-ins because maybe it's written in the terms of the contract that you need to update the client once per week, for instance, right? Something like that. In reality, I mean, this is true one way, but we are always getting in contact with another human, and what is the point number one that all humans want? I mean, makes the difference in the human life. It's just like they want to be heard, listening, and therefore they can see they have a value. And here it works exactly in the same way. So use a human touch with the real context. So I have just put here reference the last point, a connection, or get back to their goals. Example, you mentioned X was important, so let me know more. Let's discuss about that. You mentioned this phase ties into your October launch. Want to realign? Is it still fine, or I mean something happens and I mean it's just gonna shift all our plan? That's fine, but just let's discuss it. Don't say something like just for catch up, because I mean people don't like it usually, but just say something like I just want to check if X is still a priority for you. So I am sending this email, hello X, hello name. I am simply sending this email because I just want to double check if X is still a priority for you or something. I mean, just change, and we just need to renegotiate X. And stay warm but firm. So if this is no longer a priority, I completely understand, but just let me know so I can adjust the schedule. So as you can see, like we are just giving the client all the flexibility possible. We understand that life gets in the way and things happens. So the arrangement can change through the time. It's fine. When we started, we got ready with this. So if you want to change something, if you want to rediscuss some terms, I'm more than happy to have the discussion. This is my availability. Which day do you want? I mean, which day fit your calendar as well? And you're just gonna move forward. But it's better, and just keep in mind, it's better to always double check that the client is still aligned with whatever was discussed at the beginning, because if for some reason you get stubborn and you keep moving to whatever was agreed at the beginning, while the client, that is the decision maker here, decide that some priority changes and he wants something different from you, and I know that so many project managers just go stubborn and they just say something like, yeah, but we have agreed something different. This is not going to go anywhere. This is just going to create friction because the client is paying for you, and you just need to be flexible and adapt yourself and your service to whatever are the client's needs. This is the only way for avoiding any friction. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, just remember, as always, that the relationship are your real product. So you can actually deliver something great, like in a smooth way, only if you build a relationship in a way that you both get along each other. And you can just step in every time risk come up, or like there is a new change, there are new priorities, and something like that. So in reality, the delivery depends on the type of relationship that you are building, and that's it. So if you are able to build a relationship that keeps going in a positive way, like where the balance between positive and negative, of course, it goes into the positive, the positive is going to be measured and the negative ways. In that case, you can win. Otherwise, the client is always going to remember that somehow there had been some friction, and it will not like to keep on working with you. This is my experience and the one of other thousand of experts out there. So, we are half an hour live. If you have questions, if you want to discuss further, feel free to send me a DM or leave just a comment in this video. I will be more than happy in keep the discussion alive, and see also what are like your ways for like saving your relationship and avoiding to be ghosted by your clients. I hope you are lovely day, and see you next week for our next live. Thank you so much. Bye.